We are on the campus of Texas A&M. So are some Longhorn fans and the cadets of the Aggies. There'll be some 83,000. Can they tear up the Longhorns today? It's going to be a big task. The former President George Bush, he is on hand today, but so is Vince Young, the quarterback for the Longhorns. And Reggie McNeil is going to have to be a cheerleader today. The starting quarterback will not be on the field for the Aggies. ABC Football welcomes you. It is number 2 Texas undefeated against Texas A&M. Can A&M pull a big upset? That is the question here at Kyle Field today. Welcome, everybody. Delighted to have you with us, and a very happy Thanksgiving. Today, what's at stake? Of course, it's a Rose Bowl and a national championship for the Longhorns if they can remain undefeated. That's what they are after. For the Aggies, if they win today, a bowl bid, but more importantly, it would be their entire season if they can pull this major upset. Craig James, Ed Cunningham, Vince Welch is down on the field today. We take a look, Ed, at this Texas team offensively, not only for this season, but maybe for the ages. This is one great offense.
One of the greatest runs in college football history was the 69-70 Texas Longhorns, and some of those records are about to fall. It was such a different offense that they were running back then that they put up huge numbers. Texas offensively this year has been astonishing, especially lately. Over 3 games, over 600 yards of total offense, the first time in Texas history. And of course, it begins and ends with Vince Young. The Heisman race became hot and heavy last Saturday night when Reggie Bush went for 513 yards. I had, as a Heisman voter, Vince Young listed as my number 1. That made me think about it. This game here, I think, is going to answer a lot of questions about who's going to stand at that podium in New York in early December.
So he wants a big game. How about 4 years ago, high school quarterbacks, both from Texas, the 2 who should have started today, we're going to have a chance for a final matchup. But for the Aggies, it's going to have to be a different story, Craig. Their starter, Reggie, is out.
What a sad moment for him. See, Reggie McNeil came to A&M and had a lot of high aspirations. It's turned around. Last week, when they played against Oklahoma, McNeil blew his ankle up. He thought he could come back and play, but he can't. He had to leave the game, and in his replacement came Stephen McGee. The quarterback is a young man who can run the football. It's a different type of player. This isn't Reggie McNeil that's going to run 80 yards on any given play, but what he can do is lead an offense. The team believes in him. This locker room wasn't surprised that McNeil was not going to play, so they've had all week to get ready for this. They've known McNeil was on the shelf. So now McGee gets to come out and show what he can do running this offense.
How'd you like to have a chance to be the starting quarterback for the first time in this game? The Lone Star battle. Well, can the youngster pull the major upset of the season? If the Aggies could win this football game, it would be just that. But the Heisman Trophy candidate is going to have a lot to say about that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. You ready for some football? Welcome back to College Station, everybody. The 112th meeting as the Aggies take the field, this time against the number 2 team in the nation, undefeated. They are the Texas Longhorns. They do not want to be looking too far ahead, and they know that. Let's get down on the field to Vince Welch. Vince.
Well, this is a big game indeed. It's a rivalry game, A&M against Texas. It's senior day here in A&M, and of course Texas is trying to get its way to the national championship game. Coach, you're 2 games away from the national championship, but this is a game you don't look past. How do you keep an eye on the big picture without looking past this one today?
Vince, when you're in the state of Texas and you're at the University of Texas playing the Aggies on Thanksgiving, that is the big picture.
Congratulations on a great season. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Gary?
All right. Mac Brown knows he obviously all week long has gone into this with his team to say do not lose focus, because for this A&M team, this is their chance to have a season.
You know, when I met with Texas on Monday, every single one of them said, you know, it's a big game for us. It's just as big a game for A&M. A win today gives them bowl eligibility, and will give Reggie McNeil, who Greg was telling us is not going to be able to play today, will give him a chance to get one more game.
We are underway. Texas won the toss, deferred. They are kicking. A&M will get it in the end zone. Jason Carter will decide to down it right there, and it will be 1st and 10 as the Aggies will have at quarterback today Stephen McGee, a red-shirted freshman. He is from Burnett, Texas, 6'3", 205-pounder. There are the numbers in 7 games played. He was a great passer in high school. He has not put the football up in the chances so far this year.
It's really his legs that they're counting on, that and his leadership. The players really like this young man. They realize that he is a guy that has to come out in a very difficult situation, Ed, and make something happen.
And we saw it against Oklahoma. We called that game, and he is not afraid of contact. He went over to the sideline, took a nice shot, got up in the guy's face, and it really re-energized the entire sideline.
Jaworski Lane, number 11, will be starting in the backfield. 3 receivers will be set to the near side. Let's see if they go to the air against a very good Texas defense. It is not just their offense, and they intend to blitz today with a young quarterback starting. They prepared this week for this. They're going to go after him. He's going to carry up to the 25, 27-yard line before he's brought down. And the Aggies wanted a late hit call right there. They're not going to get it. Michael Griffin came in and put the hit on. Let's take a look at the Crestor starting lineups. And for the A&M Aggies, a lot of works are going to have to be done in the backfield. Courtney Lewis is their primary carrier. Jason Carter will be their primary receiver today. And they've got to have some help in this offensive line. These are the gentlemen who've got to stop this Texas rush, especially the blitz. So a lot rests on the Aggies offensive line here today. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 2. Martellus Bennett, Boone Stutz are both in the backfield. They send the man in motion. Morrow comes to the near side out of the shotgun. Short yardage. In the pocket, getting the big rush, gets away at the 15. Comes to the 20, the 25, 30, 35 and out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Hello, young quarterback. Welcome to the game.
Well, Craig, you and I were talking before the game that if you're Texas, you've been getting ready for Reggie McNeil. And I don't think Brian Robinson has any idea how athletic this young man is. I think you can kind of get lulled into thinking, well, it's not McNeil. He's not going to be able to do it. Well, he bounced right off of Robinson.
And the one thing the coaches at Texas were fearful of was an early, fast start by the Aggies that keeps the 12th man in the game.
And keep the ball in their possession. Huh? I mean, today you do not want, if you're the Aggies, you do not want the Longhorns to have that football because they score so quickly and so often. They get the 1st down and 10 here on their first series. Carried off the right side and up for a couple of yards. That's Jaworski Lane. He is tackled by Terrell Brown. This defense of Texas, they are outstanding. And if you're going to run against them, your offensive line, which for the Aggies is very young, is going to have a major task today. So probably you're going to see some short, quick passes, try and back them up a little bit.
Well, and I think that Les Caning early we're starting to see he's not calling a game that you would expect for a freshman. You would think first throw he's going to throw a screen. That run before where he got the rush, they were looking down the field, a little shocking. They must really have confidence in this young man.
They've got Alexander and Courtney Lewis in the backfield. 3 men to the wide side. There's the option play. What a pitch. That's going to be taken up to midfield and beyond in the Longhorns territory. Courtney Lewis. But how about that late pitch by Stephen McGee? Bobino put the hit on the quarterback as he let it go.
One of the things that's surprising when you see the Aggies get to the corner, Ed, is the fact that nobody from the inside out from the Longhorns defense is there. They were all pinned off.
Well, they forced the pitch, but there's nobody coming over the top. Good block to the inside, and the running back, I thought the fullback, that was the lead option, did a good job because they had the pitch man there late, but it was the lead back that picked it up.
Number 7, Michael Huff, has to get up in the run lane. He wasn't there.
Great option play right there. Jaworski Lane, the big fullback, 3 receivers to the near side. Stephen McGee will work out of the shotgun as they have the ball right at the midfield stripe for the Aggies. Straight ahead Lane. He is a bull into Longhorn territory down to the 44-yard line. A 6-yard gain. Aaron Harris on the hit. Well, this Texas defense is being tested early. And you got to wonder, do they look beyond this game early in it? Well, we'll find out. Roderick Wright, he is a Lombardi finalist. He'll be up there in that defensive line. Their linebackers, Harris, 49 solo tackles. He leads Texas in that department. And this defensive backfield is as good as it gets. Griffin and Huff are 2 of the best in the nation, and they are very tough to pass against. Courtney Lewis and Lane are both in the backfield now in this 2nd down and 4. The Aggies moving the football early in this game. The option again. There's the pitch to the 35, and had he gotten by 1, he might have gone, and a flag is down at the 30-yard line. Aaron Harris taking him down, but Courtney Lewis with a good game.
I think they've got Boone Stutz, who was blocking on Brian Orakpo, the defensive end, and I was watching that block the whole way because that was the block that sprung the run, and it looked pretty clean from way up here.
There's the call. That's a big call. That's a momentum.
Offense. Number 88. It's a 10-yard penalty.
Momentum killer.
2nd down.
You know, but don't you really have to think right now that the Longhorns, their heads right now are swimming? You know what? Here's an Aggie offense that's come out, and they're pounding them. They're putting it to them right from the beginning.
Amazing. The Aggies running against a Texas defense that's 20th in the nation against the rush and 6th against the pass. And they are 5th best defensively scoring-wise. They have given up only 14 a game. But right now A&M's off to a great start. Long way to go. Young quarterback McGee out of the shotgun. After the big penalty that cost him about 6 yards, that'll be thrown away over into the Longhorns bench as Daquan Mobley the intended, but we got another flag down.
I wouldn't be surprised if this were offsetting just to get people settled down a little bit.
Cedric Griffin, you saw bouncing out there for Mac Brown's Longhorns team. He wants to know what that call was out there, and you can see he's just trying to settle the Longhorns down as well. You can see it in his face and in his motions, like, guys, just relax down, remember who we are.
Dead ball, personal foul on both teams. Number 8, Texas. Number 7, Texas A&M. 3rd down.
That was the receiver and the defender.
Yeah, Griffin and Mobley just at the end of this play. And I like the call, Craig. This isn't that bad, but it just sends the message, listen, we're watching, everybody settle down and just play.
I'm not so certain that Griffin shouldn't have gotten the call, though. You know what? You know, the heck with being fair right now. Griffin smoked him first. You know?
All right, this brings up their first 3rd down, 36% effective in 3rd down conversions, not particularly good. McGee back into the pocket, looking over the middle, gets the big rush, gets away, still in trouble. At midfield, will throw it on the sideline, and that'll be out of bounds, and another flag is down. So with these teams pumped up in this Lone Star battle, the officials clearly are going to call it close, and we've got an Aggie down in the backfield. One of their linemen down.
Dominique Steamer.
Dominique Steamer, the strong guard. Boy, if there's one thing the Aggies have had to learn this season, it's how to live or not with injuries.
It's almost comical how much they've had. They've lost 63 total games this year to injuries.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 71 was in the backfield. The penalties declined. 4th down.
And the fact that it's an offensive lineman that goes down is not good, because Texas is too deep on that defensive line. So a fresh defensive line over there is really going to wreak havoc on an inexperienced O-line.
That's the one thing Gene Chizik, the first-year defensive coordinator that Matt got out of Auburn, has really built. He's really rotated, because in the SEC, with the schedules that they play, you learn, well, you better get some of those young guys ready, and they're good down the stretch.
Brantley has come on to do the punting. A 4th down and 4. Aaron Ross for the Longhorns will be standing back at the 10-yard line. So a good first drive gone bad with a couple of penalties that hurt them. That's a good kick. See the bounce it takes right at the goal line, and it did go into the end zone. Well, that was a strong kick right there, as it was Elton Dixon who came back on that, a 44-yard punt. Well, now we've got to see the potential Heisman winner, and today may be the day that decides whether he gets it or not. He has had one magnificent year, and look at that bottom number, 27-2 as a starter.
If he wins today, he ties Bobby Lane for most wins as a starting quarterback. And oh, by the way, he's a junior who said he is coming back for his senior year, so he's going to obliterate that record before he's done.
And for Texas today, this big offense will start with Taylor in the backfield as they work it out of the shotgun, and you saw how Vince Young was jumping up and down ready to go. Young is going to carry on this one to the 22-yard line. A 2-yard gain, and Johnny Jolly, you'll hear a lot about him, was in on the tackle. Christor presents our starting lineup, so let's take a look. This Texas offense, they call themselves the Trench Hogs. They have earned the name because they provide the blocking for these guys. Thomas, a great tight end receiver, and this is one of the best offensive lines in college football. They block well.
Consistency. These guys have played in every single game together and started. They are so comfortable together.
Brings up the 2nd down and 8. Looking to pass to the near sideline. Wide open 35 to the 40 and down up to the 45-yard line. That is David Thomas, whom we were just talking about, an all Big 12 first team last year. His 35th reception, 23-yard gain.
This guy is such a weapon, and Craig, we were talking before the game. This guy has such a bright future in the NFL. He's not a huge guy. He's 234, but he is such a diverse guy. Put him at H-back, let him move around. He's going to be a mismatch when he gets to the next level, just as he is here.
And he really occupies as opposed to blowing up people when he blocks.
Thomas is their leading receiver. The handoff and the wide turn for Taylor. Taylor, nowhere to go. Now he better turn forward here. Gets it back to the 35-yard line, and then the Aggies meet him, and he'll be thrown for a loss. But it could have been a lot worse. A loss of 2 on that one as Jason Jack, who's been playing hurt all season, came in and put the hit on. Let's take a look defensively. A big task for A&M today. Jolly, the tackles for a loss. He's their leader in that department up front. Their linebackers. They will look to get Justin Warren active today. He's #1 in the Big 12 in tackles. And with a broken rib back in the lineup today, Jackson Appel making the start. Got a big hand at the start of this football game. This is going to be a 2nd down and a 12. The Aggies will put 4 down and fill the slots with linebackers on the fake. Young looking over the middle. He's got time. Now he's getting rushed. That's what he does best. He'll make a chase. Takes it up near midfield. Driven out of bounds, though, at the 48-yard line. And that was Archie McDaniel who drove him out after a 4-yard gain.
I really believe the way that you defend Vince Young is to not get in the backfield as hard. The penetration, it needs to be a blanket, and that's exactly what the Aggies did here. The 4 defensive linemen more or less hold their zone, Ed. Don't get too much up the field and give him the running lane.
How many times do you think Stan Hagen, the defensive line coach, said this week, guys, stay in your lane? And they actually had 2 weeks to prepare. You have to. If you run by him and the linebackers are gone, he's going to get 30, 40 yards.
Texas has the best 3rd down conversion rate in their history at 50.4% on 3rd down conversions. They're trying for one right here. The zone 40, Young looking. Young, a lot of room in front of him. Dumps it off. Bad pass. Almost intercepted. A bad decision right there as he threw that right at the Aggies, and I don't think they could believe the opportunity, and the fans are up from the defensive unit.
It all started up front, though, with the zone blitz, Ed. The 9-7 backs in and takes away the crossing route.
And Foliaki, the linebacker, just dropped off, and he was reading the eyes. Again, it's that rush. They're not really pinning their ears back and just coming, and Foliaki could sit and read his eyes and just got right under where he was going to throw that little out.
Overcast day today. The temperatures are going to be only about 65 degrees, so a very great football day here. The kick by McGee back at the 10-yard line, and finally at the 13, Marquise Carpenter will take it in. Well, a pretty good offensive drive for the Aggies. First chance they had, and their defense responded to Texas's offense. Aggies get it back.
The end.
Take a look at number 15 right there, starting at quarterback, Stephen McGee. It's been a long time preparing for this opportunity.
Didn't do much tackling of himself today. make the guys in the white jerseys tackle.
It's the real McCoy.
Yeah.
That's a great line, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, he gets the Aggie offense back on the field here as they will have a 1st down and 10. It'll be Alexander and Lewis in the backfield with McGee. See if they can run another second good offense. The option instituted and not going to be pitched, and it'll be for a loss, and that is Michael Huff after a 4-yard loss.
But right away, Craig, I think you're starting to see why they like this guy. That's you know, before the game, he's sitting there by himself and everybody's coming up to him, but this is the right decision. Hold it and lose it, because if you pitch it, who knows, bad things can happen. If they've got it strung out, bad things can happen.
And Michael Huff, number 7, I guarantee you he had his fan he talked to on that sidelines, because he had a bad first series. Now you have to take advantage of that over-aggressiveness. You got to come over down the line, play action.
Play action, absolutely.
So now they've got to work deeper. A 2nd down and 14. The ball is inside the 10-yard line, back at the 8 for the Aggies. It'll be carried again. This time the pitch to the 10. Good read up to the 12-yard line. A 2-yard gain. Again, Michael Griffin moved in on the hit as Courtney Lewis gets taken down. Great to have you with us day after Thanksgiving. Hope the families are still together. Those of you lucky to be there. Along with Ed Cunningham, Craig James, and Vince Welch, I'm Gary Thorne, along with our crew here at College Station for this great matchup. The number 2 Texas Longhorns looking to move on to the Rose Bowl and chance at a national championship. The Aggies would love nothing better than to have something to say about that today.
Well, I'm with Craig. Right now, Texas is over pursuing the option. In this shotgun, you can still run the play action because you can fake the handoff and then still drop back.
They've got Mobley, Carter, and Franks all in there on this 3rd down play. That one thrown over the middle is going to be intercepted. intercepted at the 15-yard line by Drew Kelson. He is down with the interception and great field position for the Longhorns.
Yeah, they were looking for Jason Carter on a wide receiver screen, and this is the second ball that McGee has overthrown. Very strong-armed young man, a lot of adrenaline pumping through that arm, and this ball just gets away from him.
Yeah, watch his feet. Let's see if McGee throws. It's like he wanted to go left and just comes back and overthrows, as you said, as his intended receiver. Kelson's there. Not making a bad play down here with what they needed.
Yeah, but I think this is the right call, though. A nice little easy screen. He just got all excited, and his feet never got set, and just let it go.
Gene Chizik got in his head and had the right defensive call.
That is going to be the 9th interception overall for the Longhorns, and the first one Kelson has picked up. We will get a timeout on the field, I think being taken by Texas, actually. So Young wants to go over and talk about it. He's got great field position here in a first down and 10 as they will start it at the 17-yard line. And when Texas has gotten into this territory this season, it is very tough to hold them out. We'll see if the Aggies can do it when we come back. Defense now is going to have to try and get a job done.
Been a pretty good year offensively, we said right at the top, and this has a lot to do with it. They've always taken advantage very quickly of turnovers by their defense.
45 out of 52 in the red zone this season for this Texas team. Young back looking into the corner, is going to float one up, and it is going to be incomplete. Out of bounds on that one, so he went right after it. Billy Pittman, the intended receiver, Danny Gorer, was on him.
And Vince, I think, is a little jacked up right now.
And you know what? That's one of those throws that Young makes that leads everybody to say he can't throw the football. And where did that come from? Then all of a sudden he'll come out and make a perfect pass.
Yeah, and you and I talked about this. He mentioned he's coming back. He needs to.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great player. He's got all the chance in the world to win the Heisman, but he needs to work on that consistency.
Texas has had 19 turnovers they've forced this year. They have converted so far in 15 of them. They try and do it again here. On the carry to the 15-yard line. Good work by the Aggie defense out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Taylor, a tremendous runner, especially in this red zone area.
David Thomas, everybody knows that he's a great football player, but watch how Thomas on the right side here stays with his man and then comes off with a push. He comes off, releases to the safety, and clears the hole.
And that's what all of the guys in the huddle, the offensive linemen, that guy never tires, and they get a lot of their energy from David Thomas. He's not the most physical guy, but he outworks everybody on the field.
Well, here's another one of those big third down plays where Texas, as we said, over 50% on the year and a new school record in converting. There's Thomas. Will be out there 3rd and 5. They split the gaps, and you saw everybody move on that one.
I believe that was Manning.
Number 42.
Trying to time the snap count. And you don't need a penalty there. I mean, you've got 3rd and 6-ish. Now you're going to have 3rd and 1-ish. And now you're giving Vince Young anything. The whole menu opens back up. He can have an appetizer if he'd like.
Prior to the snap, offside number 42 defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, short by 1 inch.
That's short of the first down.
I like the specificity.
How does he know it's just an inch?
That's pretty quick measurement over there, I'll tell you that.
He's got one of those laser guided things in his pocket. Picked it up at
penalties
on his way in.
Penalties have really hurt A&M early. Their offensive drive that stopped on a penalty. And now here's the chance they had on 3rd down at about 6. Now it becomes 3rd and inches. They've got Hall and Melton in the backfield. Second man through to the end zone. Touchdown. Well, that is Henry Melton. 6'3", 270-pounder takes it in. It is an 8-yard run.
Well, it started at the point of attack because Melton's 270 pounds didn't have to do anything until he got to about the 1-foot line.
And I think he was probably 270 before he got to campus, and he may be a little bit bigger than that now.
He's liking the buffet.
Yeah, he loves
doing
that
okay
big
in
meal.
Austin, yeah.
So Melton comes on to get it done, and again Texas converts on a turnover after the interception. David Pino comes on to do the kicking, and the Longhorns kicker puts it up, and it is good. So you make a mistake against a team that has one of the best offenses in the nation, and you're going to pay for it. Melton gets it done here, the touchdown run. Longhorns up. Well, the Longhorns pull their way to another touchdown. The number one scoring team in the country, averaging 50 points a game.
Well, there was a bunch of injuries earlier in the year. Jamal Charles, Selvin Young went out with ankles, and that's why you've seen Ramon Taylor playing a lot more tailback, and Melton has always been the guy.
Take a look at our Nissan drive summary. Didn't take long, 19 seconds to put that one home, and that was after a turnover. A&M will get it at the 3-yard line. Jason Carter, a fine return artist, will get that one up to the 23-yard line. Cedric Griffin moved in to put the hit on. Griffin on the tackle, and the Aggies get it back.
And the Aggie coaching staff and the players need to remind themselves they're playing a great football team, and there will be many ups for the other side. So don't panic. You just got to stay the course.
And I think they learned a lot. That game at Oklahoma, they were down 21-0 in the first quarter, game that Gary and I called, and both Gary and I looked at each other and said, oh man, this is going to be like the 77-0 game from a few years ago. And they hung in there. And listen, it was a moral victory. I know people say, oh, that was a moral victory, and I think they can weather the storm. They can't lose faith in this young quarterback there.
Stephen McGee in. If you're just joining us, Reggie McNeil, the high ankle injury has kept him out of the game, not playing, not even dressed. And that will be carried by Jaworski Lane for a couple of yards. Harris on the hit, and Vince has got some old scrap iron down there. Vince.
Houston Astros.
Bill getting a little time off after a long baseball season that he didn't mind at all, going to the World Series. A 2nd down and 8. The Aggies with that option play, big rush. Linebackers got in. He's way back at the 15 and wisely decides to dump that. Robert Killebrew, the strong side linebacker with great pressure.
And Craig and I, you said it, this was going to be the key. If you're going to continue to run the option, you've got to get the play action off of it. But that time, and we've got a penalty flag late.
I mean, real late.
Yeah, really late. Yeah. Oh, intentional.
15. The ball did not get to the line of scrimmage. Loss of down, 3rd down.
I was going to say he was about 40 yards past the tackle box, so it had to be the ball going by. But a great call by Gene Chizik. You can't say enough. Remember, Greg Robinson left, and Dick Tomey were co-defensive coordinators last year. They left for the head jobs at Syracuse and San Jose State, respectively. And all Mac Brown did was said, I want a guy who's got experience in this type of the defense that they run, which is a Monty Kiffin type defense. And so he went and got Gene Chizik, who had studied some Monty Kiffin stuff when he was at Central Florida.
And the pressure and the speed that McGee's seeing right now, I guarantee when he was 5 or 6 years old in the front yard, he couldn't replicate that.
Yeah.
He couldn't tackle himself fast enough. All right, long yardage again here after the penalty for grounding because he did not throw that football up to the original line of scrimmage after he grounded it. Looking for the quick in on the sideline. It is caught, and they get it to no, incomplete. He dropped it. And maybe, well, let's see. It's incomplete. Kerry Franks was the intended number 8, the receiver, coming in from wide on that left side across the middle. Couldn't hang on, and Michael Huff, the all-Big 12 first-team cornerback, got him.
And McGee's got to settle himself down. This is the 3rd ball that he's thrown high. If he throws this into the pocket, that's a catch and a fumble, Craig. Every time I thought it from up here.
Well, he had possession to bring the ball down to his body. And I think that
looks like a catch and a fumble to me. But going back to McGee, he's just got to get himself settled down. He's a little too amped up.
Justin Brantley's come on to do the kicking, and a high snap. He gets it at his 5, and boy, what a rush, and he's hit, and a flag. A break for A&M. It'll be roughing the kicker as the ball is down at the 45, but it's coming back. A big rush by the Longhorns.
And this is something that Texas did earlier in the year. It's actually Casey Studdard, who's an offensive lineman. Whenever a punt formation has the swinging gate formation, which means they let people go and they have a gate behind it, they bring in 64 Studdard. He went to blow up the gate, but unfortunately he blew up the punter.
I'm old school. I don't like that swinging gate protection.
Neither do I. Can't stand it.
You know, have rhythm, get the snap back there, punter catch the ball and get it all.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. The idea, the theory behind it is if you spread them out, they're already in their lanes. Guys can find their lanes. Coach them up how to get out wide. 5 yards
It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
And I'm not so sure I just, take the punt.
Yeah, typically, and see, the guy comes back into the middle, and that's where the gate closes. And Studdard goes to blow him up. Earlier in the year, they blocked a couple of kicks with Studdard in there. This time he runs into, but they're going to leave him in. It's only a 5-yard. It's a 15-yarder. 64 to be run over the sideline.
Brantley averages 44 yards a kick. He is 13th in the nation in punting. This one from the 10, and they wish they'd taken the kick. That one is looped in the air. It will take an Aggie bounce, but it's not going to get to midfield. So they're going to lose about 8 yards by taking the penalty. Only a 27-yard punt for the Aggies. Let's check in with John Saunders. For keeping all that straight today as all of the implications for the Bulls begin to dwindle down. Jamal Charles has now come into the backfield as he goes by. Young back under rush. Gets away. Tough to tackle. Incomplete. Had a man wide open at the 40-yard line. That was Charles out of the backfield.
I think both of these quarterbacks need to settle in a little bit. You know, Vince has that sidearm kind of flicking motion, and when he's got it going, he's as good percentage-wise as anybody in the country. But right now, he's not setting his feet. A good pass rush has got him running around a little bit.
And the Aggies have talked about needing to tackle and get Young to the ground. You can't tackle that big fellow up top. You better go through his legs.
Absolutely.
Young is 1 for 4, 24 yards in the air so far, but obviously way under what you'd normally see for his numbers. A second down and a 10. They are into Aggie territory out of the shotgun. Young in the quarterback draw. He'll bring it up to the 40-yard line, and down he will go with the whole Aggie defense coming in to get him. Marquise Carpenter led it. It will be a 10-yard gain. How about Jackson Appel playing with a broken rib? He's going to try and tackle Young today, but how do you do it? He averages 77 yards a game in rushing. Part of this big offensive package that he puts up for his team. Handoff up the middle, great blocking. That'll be down to the 25-yard line. Charles, he is a freshman who is averaging 77 yards a game, and he gets 12 on that one.
And this young man, he was a late qualifier, so he didn't get to go through summer workouts. They knew he was good in high school, Craig, but you never really know until you get up with the big boys how good they're going to be. And Texas now going with a little hurry up. I think they're starting to sense some momentum here.
A little pressure on him. You know, and Charles is one of the fastest runners Texas has ever had. I think he has a huge upside here.
This is what Texas wanted to do. They believe if you can get to A&M early that the defense gets their heads down. They talked about it all week. Get on the board, run the score up as early as you can. Charles trying to come back the other way, and he's going to be thrown for a loss. Johnny Jolly, 3-yard loss. Jolly is their leading tackler now with 10.5 tackles for a loss.
And this guy, so much has been said about the struggles of A&M in their secondary. Of course, they're dead last in the NCAA. But Jolly has been on a tear. He had 3 tackles for loss against Oklahoma, and he is 3rd on the team in total tackles. That's astounding for an interior defensive lineman.
This summer, I spent some time here, and the coaching staff at A&M really praised the defensive line, which has not showed up this year.
There's Young, 3rd down, long yardage. They go to the flats, 30, 25, fumble, and it is knocked out of bounds. And a nice job by Cosby as Gore hit him at 4-yard gain. Cosby knew that ball was dangerously staying in fair territory, so he batted it away.
Well, he's listed as a true freshman, but he's 22 years old. He played baseball for 4 years. Watch how wise this move is. How many true freshmen would be able to do that?
He got rid of it. Now another big play here. It'll be 3rd down. Cosby's going to stay in. 3rd down and 9. 3rd down and 9. Let's see whether or not they can get it. As Texas today, 1 for 2. In 3rd down conversions, that's their 50% number on the year.
Not much straight blitzing so far. I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes off the edge here.
Vince Young out of the shotgun. Got a man open at the 10 and down to the 5-yard line. That's Sweet, the sophomore, who pulls it in. And that's a 19-yard gain in the 1st down.
And it was the corner blitz. Carl Torbush called it. And Vince Young, this is something that the coaches at Texas talk about all the time. Watch the corner as he comes off the edge. That's the outside linebacker. Corner comes further. Vince Young read it right away and knew the safety got himself out of position. The coaches from Texas say, you know, this guy has all the ability in the world, but he has studied coverages, and that time he knew where the blitz was coming from.
And Young was able to throw on time, and he threw a lot better on time that day.
And now once again they're going to have to use a timeout here. Twice down inside the red zone. They needed a little help. A&M's going to use the timeout. I take it back. Young walked over as though he wanted it, but not so. So we'll see whether or not they can put another one up. Each team has used a timeout here in this first half. Texas already on top and going for another touchdown.
Why is the University of Texas at Austin so special? Is it the academics, the rich cultural diversity, is it the open minds and curious thinkers that inspire self-discovery? Yes. We're Texas. What starts here changes the world.
Texas with a 7-0 lead, trying to keep their record perfect. They are 10-0 overall, 7-0 in Big 12 play. On the road this season, they have won 4, looking for a 5th here. They'll be playing in the Big 12 championship game. The opponent to be decided, probably Colorado. And then the big picture, they hope, will move them on to the Rose Bowl and a shot at the national championship. 75% in the red zone. They're there now. First down and goal, carried up to the 5. Touchdown untouched is Taylor. Taylor takes it in for the TD, their second touchdown, and David Thomas, that end again with a tremendous block.
You always see the glamour guys taking it in, but number 16, David Thomas, is playing a sensational game both in the passing game and the running game.
You know what? 16's on the left side. You see him the end of the line of scrimmage. His footwork, how he fits on defenders. You know, he's just got great technique.
And you can talk to this, Craig, as a former running back. You don't blow him up. Just occupy them and don't let me see a bunch of color. I'll take the side I need to take.
And when he gets on you, he's glue.
That is the 10th touchdown scored by Taylor, a team-leading 10th touchdown. The extra point is up and good. Taylor takes it in easy, and this offense of Texas, the best in the nation, is off and running again. There is Taylor, 10 touchdowns. Jamal Charles has picked up 9, all of those via rushing. And again, when they get down, it doesn't take them long. That's one of the things we showed you earlier. This Texas team, we were just saying, time of possession for this team is absolutely meaningless.
And when you think about the depth that's been built in this program, Ramon Taylor was moved to wide receiver in the fall because of the emergence of Jamal Charles. Well, Charles and Young go down with ankle injuries. Well, he spent the entire spring at running back, so he comes in, they don't miss a beat.
I marvel at how Mack Brown has been able to keep all of the egos and talent on this football team satisfied. I mean, that's as big a job as the X's and O's.
Johnson puts that kick back to the goal line. That's where it's handled by Carter. Carter trying to get some field territory for the Aggies, will not get it back up to the 20. He'll be at about the 19-yard line where the Aggies will get it first and 10. Take a look at our drive summary presented by Drive Insurance from Progressive.
That's pretty cheap insurance for the Longhorn offense. Just bet on the fact they're going to score a touchdown. 75% of the time they get in the red zone, they score a touchdown. You know, you always see percentage of scores in the red zone. I say, well, 80% of them are field goals. That's not going to win a lot of games, but 75% of the time, it's staggering what they do inside the 20.
Mack Brown's team getting it done. Vince Welch
told me before the game, he said, when I asked about the change they might have defensively with Reggie McNeil, not a quarterback, and he looked at me and he kind of smiled and he says, no other offensive player on the other team changes what we do offensively. Quite a confidence in his offense, knowing it's going to be able to get it done regardless.
They've done that all year. McGee back in the pocket, tackle around the ankles, completes it to the 30, up to the 35, 40, and driven out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Jason Carter. Carter is their leading receiver, averaging 77 yards a game. He gets 25 on that one.
Because things have been so bad on defense this year for the Aggies, a lot of people have overlooked it's a pretty good offense. Jason Carter making his 53rd catch of the season. Former high school quarterback. They'll use him on reverses. He'll try some throws, and if you know the Aggies, you know at some point they're going to try a trick.
And he stayed disciplined. He hooked up where he was supposed to hook up and let the underneath route open the play up for him.
And that's the type of throw McGee needs to kind of get a little bit of that confidence back.
That's his first completion. He does need to do that because they're going to have to throw the football at least a little bit here. Courtney Lewis in the backfield with him, fakes the handoff. Quarterback hit McGee. Ouch. Did you see his head snap on that? That was Michael Griffin, who is their leading tackler, working out of the free safety spot, who just almost broke him in two. Listen to this hit. Better check that face mask, make sure it's still in one piece.
That's a great shot, but that's nothing like Dwayne Slay at Texas Tech. Oh, remember this? And we did Kansas State, and I mean, he must.
He caused like 8 fumbles this year. I mean, he leads the nation. The guy's unreal.
He runs through you. Slay is one of the few people I've actually seen who is able to do that. A 2nd down and 4 here for the Aggies, looking to get into Longhorn territory. Back looking, McGee wants one. He's got a man open. 15, caught, no, incomplete at the 10. Daquan Mobley, and that ball's going to be caught, even with Aaron Ross covering.
Mobley made a technical error here as he was looking back for the ball and adjusting. He slowed down.
And you know what, though, I got to tell you, this is one incredibly difficult catch.
Yeah, over the up.
When you run like that and it's coming over from behind you, straight from behind, that's very difficult. So you have to make the adjustment with your body. You got to see it in the air and make the adjustment so you get right for it.
That's a former specialist making his first excuse of the day.
That's exactly right. I knew you. I'm
a lineman. I'm saying catch it. I'm up here working. You catch those. That's your job.
3rd down and 4 for the Aggies. Trying to keep the ball on their side of the field. Quick in pass completed. 1st down. Taken down at the 39-yard line. Little slammed in for an 11-yard gain right there. May see a few more of those. Martellus Bennett, he's that tight end, 16th reception for it.
And he's a freshman. And he came in highly touted out of high school. And he likes to play wide. He's got good hands. And the using of the body right here to fend off the defender is what made the play.
Well, and when you have a guy like that, we were talking about David Thomas on the other side. When he's in the game, you think tight end, he walks out, and you have to put Killebrew, the linebacker, who's a great athlete, but he's just not going to be able to match up against this guy who almost put himself in the NBA draft and then took himself out so he could come play for the Aggies.
Aggies get their first conversion on 3rd down, and they're going to try the flea flicker. Looking into the end zone, one-on-one coverage, incomplete. About 1 step out of the way, Jason Carter, the intended. Haven't seen the old flea flicker for a while.
Well, you always know when you're playing against the Aggies, you're going to see something, but that's the 2nd time that the receiver, when looking up for the ball and trying to adjust, has slowed down and not run through it.
He's got to throw the ball to the right. McGee needs to throw the ball to the wide side, the far right. Nobody was over there.
Well, I think sometimes the young quarterback, you're always trying to make the perfect throw instead of the throw that will give you the completion. That one you want to underthrow, especially because the defense didn't bite. Cedric Griffin was right there. Throw it back to the inside.
Griffin may even got a piece of that ball. That was great coverage. A 2nd down and a 10. Fake, option, move it. Got some room. 35, inside the 30. 1st down to the 25. Courtney Lewis. Lewis, their leading rusher, averaging 86 yards a game, 48th in the nation, is down. A 14-yard gain, but he is down. They have already had an interior lineman, Steamer, come out of the football game with an injury, and now their leading rusher's down.
And this is a guy who has battled injuries from last year to this year. He struggled with an ankle in 04, at a 1,000-yard year as a freshman in 03. Struggled with an ankle, and he's grabbing that thigh like he may have a thigh bruise.
Lewis has the speed to be able to handle the Texas defense, and you'll see that when the safeties come up and the pitch is made, only Lewis has the ability to make the play and to get there. Most runners are caught from the inside out against the Longhorns.
Let's see what happens.
I mean, how long can this go on? Lewis has had 4 carries, 36 yards in the game. Their starting quarterback, Reggie McNeil, unable to play today because of the ankle injury. That wasn't announced until today. They try and cover that up a little bit, obviously. And now their leading rushers limping off the field.
Unbelievable. Cedric Griffin landed on the back of his heel. So much has been said about Dennis Franchione, and of course the A&M alumni are getting a little restless with what's been going on, but it has been staggering around here with the guys that have been hurt.
It has been a struggle. Let's go down on the field of Vince.
They went to that immediately and were working on the underneath pad of the thigh pad. So right in that upper thigh area as he walked off the field or was helping off the field, had no ability to put any pressure on it at all, so it didn't look good, certainly early on for Courtney Lewis.
Javorsky Lane, who swaps with him in the backfield, but Lane does not have what Craig was just talking about, the ability to make those kind of cuts. He is a straight-ahead power runner. They do get the 1st down, though. 1st down and 10 with the ball at the 35-yard line of the Longhorns. The Aggies need one here on the option again. Young quarterback's going to run it. He'll take it down to the 20-yard line as McGee gets hit by Michael Griffin. He gets a 5-yard gain. Delighted to have you with us day after Thanksgiving. Those of you lucky or smart enough not to be out shopping or enjoying some football instead. We're lucky to be here. There are 83,000 here, but there are about 85 at the mall. Along with Ed Cunningham, Greg James, Vince Welch, I'm Gary Thorne.
What a great day yesterday was. Had big turkey dinner,